Hey, what is going on guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the new strong and weak champions for patch 6.23. This patch is going to hit live servers at like Wednesday of next week, so it is still around a week away, but this video should give you a good idea of some new good picks in this next patch. This video is going to be a little bit of a longer one, so I will leave some timestamps down in the description below. So if you do want to skip ahead to a certain champion, or you don't want to see the changes to a certain champion, then you can go ahead and do that down in the description. So with that being said guys, let's get started. So first off here, we're going to take a look at Akali. Now right now, for both the top and the mid lane, Akali has one of the worst, if not the worst win rate right now. I'm pretty sure she's got the worst win rate for top lane. She's got a really low win rate as well for mid lane at around like 44-43%. So these buffs are definitely needed for her. I feel like after the rework, she's honestly not that great. I haven't played like a whole lot of Akali, so I don't know exactly like why she's super weak, but they did tweak her a lot. And a lot of the Akali mains, it seems to be like her passive that they think is really weird. Her passive now, like the first hit on it, it'll give you a heal, and then the second hit will give you extra damage, and they're increasing the AP ratio on both of those now. But honestly, Akali, she's a burst champion, so I don't really know why they incorporated the heal in first, like her first auto heals. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. You really want like your first auto to deal damage, and you want to like try to burst down your target as quick as possible. So having to auto twice to deal like a lot of damage doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for an assassin, but her passive is getting that buff there. Her W is also getting another buff. The energy cost is getting lowered on that. So it's going from 60, or it's going from 80 at rank 1, and now it's going to be 60 at rank 1. And then her E here, it's also getting a buff. So her E, her passive, and her W are what are getting buffed this patch. Her E's AP ratio and AD ratio are both getting increased. Honestly, I'm not sure if this will really make Akali that much stronger. She'll probably see like a 2 or 3% increase on her win rate at most, but I really don't think these changes are going to make her a very strong pick. The next changes here are going to be to Anivia, and I don't really think Anivia is going to be as strong this next patch with these changes. So her W, it is getting a buff, the cooldown is getting reduced, but the big change here is going to be to her E and her ultimate. So her E is no longer going to deal the double damage unless the target is stunned, or unless your ultimate is at its full radius, like it has formed like to its biggest form, and at that point then your E will deal the double damage. So to be honest, this is a pretty big nerf to Anivia's burst combo. Before, her main damage combo was just throwing down her ultimate and then using her E right after that for the double damage, but because now you have to wait for your ultimate to become like full size for you to get that double damage, this is just gonna make Anivia, I feel like, really awkward to play. So many people are used to just using that RE combo, and now that you have to wait a certain duration to get that double damage, it's definitely going to feel really weird, and it's going to take a lot of time to get used to. Her ultimate though, the ramp up time on the size of her ultimate, it is getting decreased, so it's going from 3 seconds down to 1.5 seconds, and even though this is shorter now, it's still going to feel weird to play because you have to wait 1.5 seconds for you to throw out your E, and that's just gonna feel just super weird, I feel like, in a team fight. And the fact that you don't have like an instant burst combo now is going to make Anivia quite a bit weaker in my opinion, but we will have to wait and see for sure. Now she is also getting some tweaks here to the damage on her ultimate, but here it says that the damage and the slow amounts end up being the same as live when your ultimate is fully formed. So next up is going to be Malzahar. So his W is getting buffed and it is also getting nerfed, but I think this is more of a nerf here to Malzahar's W. The stats on his W are getting buffed, but the amount of W's and the amount of voidlings that you can have out at once is getting reduced now. So the way that Malzahar's voidlings spawn, or the way that Malzahar's extra voidling spawns, is now going to be changed. So before, whenever you spawned a voidling and it auto attacked a minion or a champion, it would automatically spawn a new voidling, but that's not going to happen anymore. So the way it's going to work now is that once you do spawn a voidling, it has to be alive for 3 seconds, and then after 3 seconds, when it autos another minion or a champion, then it's going to spawn a new voidling. So that means that you can't have like an insane amount of voidlings out now at once in the laning phase, or I guess you can still have a really good amount of voidlings, but the rate that you can spawn them at now is getting decreased by quite a bit. His voidlings are also getting like this new change. It's getting HP now. It says that voidlings now have 3 HP similar to wards. So what I'm assuming this means is that it's now going to take 3 auto attacks to kill Malzahar's W, because it does say similar to wards. So does that mean that you can't kill Malzahar's voidlings with ability power now, because you can't kill wards with ability power or with abilities? So I'm not too sure exactly what that means, but that's kind of a buff though, if that does mean you can only kill it with auto attacks, and if it does take 3 auto attacks to kill it. He is also getting a damage increase here. The base damage is getting increased on his W. The AP ratio is also getting increased, but overall, even though they are buffing the damage on it, the fact that it does now take 3 seconds for an extra voidling to spawn, this is definitely more of a nerf. At least that's what it looks like right now. We will have to wait and see when this goes to live servers, but if you think about it, in a team fight, if you can only spawn an extra voidling every 3 seconds, that means that it's going to have to be a very long extended team fight for you to get like 3 or even 4 voidlings out. It's going to take like 12 seconds to get 4 voidlings out, so that means that that fight is going to have to last for a very long time. If it's a mid to late game team fight, then champions, they die really quickly. Team fights usually only last like 3 or 4 seconds, 10 seconds like at max. So because Malzahar's W, it's not going to be as frequent now, it is going to decrease his damage by quite a bit, and he will definitely get weaker in this coming patch. The next changes here are going to be to Shyvana, and right now it feels like these changes are more of a buff to Shyvana, but it looks like it is also sort of a nerf here at the same time. So her passive, it is getting changed quite a bit. So Shyvana is now going to gain automatically 5 armor and magic resistance, but this isn't going to stack the longer the game goes. Right now on live servers, I think it will eventually stack up to you getting, I think it's like 20, it's 20 bonus armor and magic resist at a certain level, but that isn't going to stack anymore. It's only going to give you 5 armor and magic resist no matter what level you are. But when you kill a dragon now, that's when it's going to give you that bonus armor and magic resist. So when you do kill a dragon, it's going to give you 5 armor and magic resist. So you are going to need to get like 3 dragons now in order for you to have the same amount of armor and magic resist that you would have on live servers. She is going to deal 10% more damage to dragons though, so that means she is going to be able to take that really quickly. But overall here, I'd say this is more of a nerf to Shyvana. It's a nerf to her early game, or it's a nerf like if you can't get dragons, then it's a nerf, but if you can get like 3 or 4 dragons, then it is a buff. Her W is also getting changed here, so now when you use your ultimate, your W is going to be changed in your ultimate form. So the old form, it would leave like this trail behind you, which would deal damage, but instead it's now just going to grow in size, and I think that this is more of a buff than a nerf to her W. You didn't really deal like a lot of damage with the trail that your W left, and nobody would really walk in it anyway, so this is definitely a buff here. It's going to allow her to deal more AoE damage in team fights. So Shyvana's E is also getting a change here. The AP ratio on it is getting lowered, but this really doesn't matter at all because you're really not going to be building AP on Shyvana. The dragon form of your E is also, it's definitely changed quite a bit here. So the flame breath, it's now going to explode on impact or at a target location. So it's not going to just like fire out that little AoE bit of damage anymore. It's going to be a skill shot now that you have to aim, and it's going to deal damage on impact. So it's going to deal 100 to 200 damage. Now the way that this ability scales is definitely a lot different now. So from level 6 to 18, every time you gain a level, then the damage on it is going to increase. So it does increase by 5 damage every level that you get with Shyvana. And then also the amount of time that your E is on the ground for, it is going to deal like extra damage if the enemies are standing in it. So it is going to last for 4 seconds, and then enemies on Scorched Earth will take 60 to 120 damage per second. Now I feel like this really won't matter too much when like dueling an opponent or something like that, but this will definitely make a difference if you're taking Dragon or if you're taking Baron, because you'll be able to put that like on Dragon and it will deal that damage over time. So it will definitely make your Dragon clears very fast. And the final change here is going to be to her ultimate. So her ultimate, it is getting the Nasus and Renekton treatment. So it's now going to grant her 150 health at rank 1, going up to 350 at rank 3. So this is obviously a buff here to her ultimate. Her ultimate, it is also, you can no longer disable her ultimate. So when you use your ultimate, you can't be like thresh hooked or something, and you can't be CC'd when you're using it. And I think that honestly this is a pretty big buff here, because when I did play Shyvana like back in the day, I would remember like so many times where I would use my ultimate and I would just get like thresh hooked, or I would get CC'd and I wouldn't be able to get away. But because this has now been changed, this is definitely going to allow her to escape better. It's going to allow her to engage better as well, because you can't CC her anymore when she's jumping in. So this is actually a really big buff here to Shyvana's ultimate. Now the damage on her ultimate, it is getting lowered a little bit, but this really doesn't matter too much. It's going from 175 at rank 1 down to 150, and then from 425 at rank 3 down to 350. But I would definitely take the extra health when you use it and not being interrupted now for that damage trade-off. The damage on her ultimate, it really wasn't game changing at all. You didn't use your ultimate like for the damage most of the time. You used it to gap close and you used it to get onto your target. So this is definitely a nice buff here to Shyvana's ultimate. And lastly here, I want to take a look at a few items getting changed in this upcoming patch that could make a few champions pretty strong. So the first item change here is going to be to Blade of the Ruined King. So Blade, it is getting a % health damage increase. So it's going from 6% now back up to 8%. Last season, before Blade got nerfed, it was at 8% of the target's current health, and then they nerfed it down to 6%, but they're changing it back now, which is actually pretty good. And this item could become core again on some of the AD carries like Vayne or Twitch. Those are two AD carries that pretty much built that item every single game. I'm pretty sure Ezreal is like the only AD carry right now that still does end up building it at some point in their build, but most other AD carries, they really don't even build Blade right now. So we could see Twitch, we could see him go back to that assassin build of like getting a Blade and then just trying to assassinate his target. He could roam mid lane or roam top lane and just try to assassinate with that Blade item. We'll have to wait and see for sure, but this item is definitely, it does have the potential to be strong next patch. Now the more interesting change, and the change that I know a few champions will get stronger in this next patch from, is the change to Rageblade. So it's now going to give you plus 25% attack speed. It's going to just give you that base stat of that attack speed for no extra cost. Now if I think about a few champions who could be strong with these changes, it would be like Kayle. We could see Jax end up going Rageblade again, but I definitely think that Kayle will be a lot stronger in this coming patch. She is one of the only champions that still does go Rageblade. Like you don't see any AD carries going Rageblade anymore. Kayle's really the only champion that I can think of right now that does go Rageblade like pretty much every single game. So I feel like right now in 6.22, Kayle is already a really good pick in this assassin meta, but with these changes to the Rageblade, we'll probably see a lot more Kayle next patch, and I think that she's going to be very strong for sure. So that is going to be all for this video, guys. If you did enjoy, then please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you guys have not already. So thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I will see you in my next video.